I still can't get it to work.
Hey guys.
Hey, did Gerard
I
get
will
in?
say there was some sort of Teams update today that I know has caused some technical problems for some people. So
okay,
I've had some myself.
Davis, this is my fourth try to get into this, so I finally got in this time.
I think it was just a matter of when the meeting was opened up, Richard. If you're just calling in on the phone.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Hey guys, it's Paul Raddick here.
We're getting a pretty good amount of background noise from somebody. If people wouldn't mind muting their phones, that'd be great. Thanks.
Mine showing up this time, Davis? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I had myself muted. I can see you loud and clear and hear you very well. So
okay, but mine's not showing any.
Tom, you're coming across a lot better.
Yeah, I changed my equipment out. See if that would help.
And what's it not showing you, Tom?
Huh?
I'm sorry. Did you say you're not? There's something you're not seeing?
No, I see it all now. I just said I changed all the equipment. I'm just trying to make sure it's working.
Yes, sir. See you very well.
Okay. Okay. We'll give everybody a few minutes to get in since we had some issues, and I think we have. Do we have all 5 board members? We got Tim and Tom and Mark. I heard.
And
Gerard's here. Okay.
I have a question. I don't find a copy of the minutes from the last meeting. Are they supposed to be in the packet?
No, Tom, they're not done yet because the meeting got moved up a week.
Oh, okay. Because I knew it said it was on here, and I've been looking all over for it. Thank you, George.
Yeah, and we obviously moved I'm sure everyone's aware, moved the meeting up because of the TCQ matter that needed to be addressed.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, if I have 5 board members, do we want to get started?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District Board of Directors on Wednesday, July 14th at 6:33 p.m. First item on the agenda is to discuss the minutes of the meeting held on June 24th. And based on the discussion, we don't have those for tonight. So I guess we'll go on to number 2, which is.
I'll try to email it to my student account on this one.
Okay, somebody's having a conversation. Can you mute yourself? Do you know who that is, David?
We're getting a lot of feedback from someone it's a phone number ending in 3394. Oh, looks like it may be fixed.
Okay. Okay. Item number 2 on the agenda, and just so everybody knows, in case you didn't hear we don't have the minutes because we changed the date of the meeting. The minutes for the board meeting are not ready from June 24th meeting. So item number 2 on the agenda is receive the comments from the public. And before we start taking comments from the public, I do want to ask you to please hold them to 3 minutes so that we're not here again all night. And once a question has been asked and answered, please, if you can, refrain from asking it again. Okay. So,
Julie, just building on that a little bit, I'd like to ask that Richard administer the time, if he could keep a track on the timer and let us know when 3 minutes is up. And the other thing is, I was, given the costs that we have for 2 attorneys and 2 engineers and a financial advisor on the call, if we could also limit all of the public comments to this one agenda item that's devoted for public comments.
That's
I was
fine.
actually-
As far as-
Ger-
as far as the
Gerard,
time,
I
I've
don't
got-
know that you, yeah, I
I've
don't
got-
know
I've
that you
got a
can.
timer.
I think they changed that to where they can comment during the meeting at any time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. You're right.
No, state law requires that you allow the public to comment, but it doesn't require that you allow, the public to comment at will
Right.
throughout the meeting. So that's
Okay.
that's up to the discretion of the board. So
Okay. Okay, do we have any comments from the public?
Yes, Robert McElroy. I have
Hey,
a
Mr.
comment or
McElroy.
two. On the report, what does RFP stand for? Probably Davis knows that. On the statement of expenses, RFP.
request for proposals.
Are you talking about for the bond?
Okay, that must be it. Okay, that's good. I thought so. Okay, now the item I want to get to is not on the agenda, but it has to do with Charleston Park. First of all, there are three areas. One is the care, the second is safety, and the third is the drainage. Oh man. Oh, boy.
Okay.
My wife calls. Okay, first is the care. If you go on Charleston Park between Stewart Creek and looking at the north side along the golf cart, you see that it's not being cut properly. In random areas, it is cut because I think the homeowners are doing it. There's also that is not being cut. You can see pine tree saplings grow up in that drainage ditch. We're coming up with possible hurricane season. I think that needs to be looked to. Someone in the board, Richard, needs to get out there and get with those lawn care people and get that ditch cut.
Where was the second place, Mr. McElroy?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
If you
cut out.
If you go from Stewart Creek, you look at the north side of the golf cart path, you'll see that there hasn't been cut, or maybe it has been cut, but I think the homeowner's doing it. If you look on the south side, this is before you get to Braxton Bragg, you'll see there's a tree line over there. Before it had been cut. Now they haven't gone up to the tree line to do the cutting. So, and then the second thing is, you see when they down the golf court path, the discharge of the grass goes on the sidewalk, and they need to change it, redirect the lawnmower where the discharge goes back into the grass and not onto the sidewalk.
Robert, if I can interrupt you just a second. The contractors had some problems. He had to let go 2 of his people, and he's hiring new people now. All of that is being addressed.
Well, that may be the case, but it's been at least a month. I know it hasn't. I haven't seen it being cut. And then the second area has to do with safety. There's an area there. I think the engineer needs to give you a statement that this meets any OSHA requirements as far as public safety, because now we have children and families using the golf cart path. Before, I imagine the golfers understood, but if you look between Stephen F. Austin and Braxton Bragg.
You mean Stonewall Jackson and Braxton Bragg?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There's
Robert, your time is up. 3 minutes.
There's a drainage ditch. Okay. That's it. I'm just saying. Yeah, there's the cable there is loose. It's within 24 inches of a drop off. It goes down 10 feet. And it's just basically a trip hazard now, and the grass is covering it up to where you can't really get. And so it needs. So I think the engineer needs to look at it and give you a statement of safety, or either recommend what needs to be done to provide additional protection from the public from that area. That's really important. And I could comment on the bond, but that's another thing.
Yeah, Richard, I'll tell you where it is if you don't know where that is. So.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
If Richard get out there with me, we can walk that drainage ditch, and I'll show him how it needs to be taken care of and being cut back to where water can flow either way, east or west, but it has to be opened up. Drainage ditches that have grass and trees growing in aren't going to do the job.
Okay.
So Another thing I would add, I'm over time.
If we are gonna
Yeah, I
try
think
and
you're
stick
out
to
of
3
time.
minutes, I think
Okay,
it's
thank you.
important that we apply that.
I'll do it the next. Okay, I'll do it the next meeting.
Okay.
If I
you
would
very much.
suggest, this is Mark, if I suggest if you would just write everything down and send it in, and it'd be something we could review or Richard could review.
I think a letter for sure regarding the safety requirements, putting y'all on notice, making the board aware that issue exists, so where
Right.
we can do due diligence and take care of that thing. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any other comments from the public? Anyone else have something they'd like to comment on? Going once? Going twice? Okay, on to number 3. The agreed enforcement order of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. So I will tell you what I know about this, and then I'll let Davis and Taylor or whoever, Richard, that wants to jump in. Basically, I received a letter from the TCEQ stating that they were fining us for the quality of the release of the, I don't really want to say effluent, but whatever. And the quality of what was coming out of the wastewater treatment plant. So we have a fine, we have a deadline of the fine, and the deadline of the fine, if I'm not mistaken, is Monday. Is that correct? Richard, do you have that in front of you? I don't have, I'm not at my office and I don't have it with me, but I think it was Monday. It was a deadline.
Yes, it was on September 21st.
You mean July 21st?
I'm sorry, July. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. So the amount of the fine, it was $6,600 if I'm not mistaken, and they reduced it by $1,600, leaving us a little over $5,000 fine due.
Julie, I'm looking at it. The fine itself was $6,600 dating back to April, I think in May or something of 2020. Anyway, that's what it was for. They're willing to reduce it by $1,320 if we'll accept it now and take care of it, which would mean our penalty that we have to pay is $5,280. I'm not sure.
If I can add just briefly, this is an agreed order that allows, even more importantly than the fine amount, frankly, for the district to avoid formal enforcement proceedings. And these are violations that we actually report to the TCEQ, right? So these ammonia nitrogen violations, they are not in dispute. I'm sure Richard can give you some background on the cause and the nature of the violations, but we don't dispute the accuracy of the information that's included here, and for that reason, I think that it's in the district's best interest to go ahead and approve the agreed order and get the fine paid in a timely manner so that we can avoid formal enforcement proceedings and everything that goes along with that with the TCEQ.
Davis, can I ask a question? Since this was, I thought it was April through September, but it may have been April, May, and June. That means we still have the rest of the period, because weren't we out of compliance through February of this year?
No, that's not true.
No? Okay.
No, it was only the enforcement was for those months only that were out of compliance with the nitrous ammonia. The issue has changed though a little bit. To give you a little bit of update, I've been on the phone and going back and forth with the TCEQ. The settlement has changed because of the fact that I've been dealing with a Mark Gamble. He's the guy who's assigned to us for the enforcement case. After talking with him for a couple of days now, the fine has now been reduced to $4,228. And it's possible it's going to go even lower. The main issue is this violation, or I should say, this penalty was issued under the assumption that that the plant went out of compliance, and we never notified them. That is not true. And I sent him the documentation on it in two ways. Number one, he said, "Can you prove that it was a mechanical failure? It was not neglect." And I said, "Yes." So I sent him the actual invoice for the bearing that we had to buy and replace, and the amount of time it took to get that bearing, because it was a back-ordered bearing. And also I gave him the contractor's invoice for installing it and creating the repair ring, the wear ring, and to repair the shaft. So because of all that documentation, that yes, we did do a good faith effort to get that RBC back online, which is what caused the problem. The fine was reduced to, it was reduced to $4,281 officially as of today. Now, that could still go even lower, because I asked him a couple questions about, well, how did they come up with this fine? How come they didn't know it was a mechanical failure? Well, the enforcement division apparently doesn't get all the information. They go by what's given to them. And I did report this, what happened on the DMRs. He did not have a copy of the DMRs, so I sent him copies of the DMRs with my comments at the bottom. You have to report this every month through the state agency. In the comment section, I specifically commented the reason for the exceeding of the permit limit was because that the bearing had failed in the RBC. We were only running on one RBC instead of the two, and the plant was doing everything it could to stay in compliance. And every month from April, May, and June, DMRs, that comment is in there. So they didn't have any of that. So I sent that to him today.
Richard,
Yes.
can I interrupt? Do you have
Yes.
a new agreed order, or do you have
Yes.
you have a new document?
He is preparing the new document on that basis already, so we're going to get the new one. I talked to him today about, should I make out the check for this one right now? He said, no, let me, I'll call you tomorrow. He's going through his superiors he said we should get the new order within 30 days. He's going to try and push it sooner.
Yeah, but
I
don't
told
we
him
have
I'm
a
willing
deadline on Monday?
Richard, let me say this. We're talking about potentially saving, $800 or maybe $1,000 in penalty costs. I think missing the deadline is a more significant concern.
Where's the
I'm
deadline?
still gonna recommend that the board go ahead and approve this order with the understanding that if we are able to obtain any sort of reduction in the penalty, that we make every effort, to do so. Obviously, if we can save $1,000, I think that's beneficial. But I can tell you that just getting everybody to the enforcement process is expensive.
yeah.
You'll spend $1,000 in the first day. So I think it's a mistake to rely on a local inspector that Richard is having a conversation with to say that he's going to be able to get something out of Austin quickly. I will note that these violations, date back to April of 2020. And we just received this in June of 2021. So I think it's a mistake not to go ahead and proceed with the understanding that in the event we do have an opportunity to reduce the penalty, that we can. But I think we need to go ahead and write the check and get this whole thing to the TCQ ASAP. And if we can get a refund, great.
Right.
No, I agree,
Yep.
Davis. I agreed with him too. I'm going to send the total 52, which is originally stated. I told him I would FedEx that to him tomorrow. So he says, well, you can do that, and we'll just send you a revised letter later that you'll get, making it official. And also, they're going to, since we did the plant upgrade, he's going to try to apply all the money we spent on that to substitute for the SEPs. That would help reduce it to almost nothing. And they're going to put all that in writing and send it to him. The guy I'm dealing with is in Austin. He's enforcement.
Okay, and so Richard, there have not been any ammonia nitrogen violations at the plant subsequent to June of the violations included here.
Correct.
June of 2020. No ammonia nitrogen violations of any kind at the plant in the last 12 months.
No, not since the RBCs went back online. That is correct.
Okay, and
I also sent him.
You're confident that we can comply with the terms of the order and provide the clean sampling history that's required and clear on those requirements?
Yes, I've already sent all that to him. I've sent him the last 6 months of the DMRs and the lab results from East Tech, and he's going to take that portion out of the agreement because it's no longer necessary because I sent him all that information.
Okay, but were it to remain, you would need to do it following the date of the order. We actually receive it from the TCQ. Is that what? And you and I can go through this more offline, but I just want to make sure you're clear on the requirements and actually complying with the order, not just paying the fine. So.
Yes, that's exactly right. We have 130 days to come up with the other part of it. That's true.
Right. The additional sampling history. Okay.
Right. But since I sent him all the information already, he's already reviewed it and said, well, there's no need for us to continue with the second half. I'll make sure that's deleted from the update that we'll send you.
Great. If we get something in writing, that'd be great to see. So,
okay.
But you're in agreement. We should go ahead and approve it today and authorize payment, approve the order, and authorize payment of the penalty provided therein.
Yes.
And where are we getting the due date? I'm not finding in this order.
It was in the order somewhere.
That's what I'm
I
trying
remember
to
that date. Yeah.
30 days from the date of the letter, which is
okay.
30 days from June 21st.
Okay. So it'd be July. Okay. I didn't see
it was
that
like
part.
the first paragraph, I think.
Well, if that's the case, are we ready for a motion? I'm ready to make a motion on this one.
I second it.
Okay. Well, here's my motion is that we accept the agreed penalty here, or whatever you want to call it, and we defer to any lower figure if they come back and offer them. But we'll pay up to this amount if necessary. And do we still have a second?
Okay. Mark, you got a second?
Mark seconds it.
Okay. All in favor?
Tom, aye.
Mark, aye.
Gerard, aye.
Tim, aye.
Julie, aye. Any nays? I guess that's 5-0. Okay. All right. So we all know what we're doing. Richard, you're going to cut a check tomorrow, FedEx it, UPS, however, overnight it to them so that they have it by Monday in their hand. And
that is.
Then we'll get the rest of it going.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, hopefully we get some back.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else on the TCEQ enforcement order? All right. Taylor, you're up. Engineers report. You're muted.
You're muted, Taylor.
Can you unmute him by any chance, Davis?
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I had the report pulled up and you were in a small window and I couldn't get myself to mute.
Okay.
There he is.
All right. So this didn't get put in the report, but we for the MS4 permit that we rushed to do last time, if you guys remember, the TCQ did send us a notice requesting a letter back stating that pretty much we wouldn't do it again. And so I put together a brief letter, sent it to him saying we'll make sure that we correspond with the 90-day limit to submit the report before the end of the year. And that should clean us of that. It's kind of the first reprimand where we got slapped on the hand, but we don't foresee any sort of violation or fine coming out of it. Okay. With that being said, we did want to make sure that we asked the board, Richard is on site all the time, kind of leading the management plan. And so we wanted to see, does the board want Richard to make sure that he is putting together the annual report, or do you want that to fall on our responsibility?
I would prefer, and personally, that you guys make sure that it's done in working with Richard on whatever he needs to get it done, but that you guys sign off on it and make sure it's done. So
Is something missing these reports and stuff? It seems like there's been 2 or 3 of them. Is this a function of the transition at the first of the year that caused these to get missed, or are they just not calendared? What's causing us to miss in the
that
first place?
one was an old one, if I remember right. That one was almost a year past, wasn't it, Taylor?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Pretty much what happened was you're supposed to submit these reports for this MS4 permit every single year. And I don't know who was doing it beforehand. I reached out to the old engineer. Richard didn't know who was doing it. And so it didn't happen for 2020. We got a notice saying, hey, send us this report and you're missing it. We sent them a whole bunch of information and everything and said, hey, we don't have a report, you know, we're new to the district, blah, blah, blah. And they pretty much said, okay, here's a slap on the wrist. Please let us know that you've corrected the issue and we'll not have that problem anymore.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I would say if Richard hasn't been doing them in the past, I would definitely prefer that you guys do them then.
We need somebody.
Julie, I would agree with you 100%. I'd rather them do that. That's a new thing that popped up on us, and it was a pain in the neck to do that report.
Okay.
Oh, I see how it is, Richard. You want me the pain in the neck?
I'll be glad to help you.
I know. No,
How much time is involved in preparing those reports?
Come again?
How much time is required to prepare those reports?
So it's an ongoing thing that we have to monitor any new construction within the district and things like that, which is what we rely on coordination with Richard for when construction comes in and make sure the implementation of the plan's going on. The report itself to put together takes probably a day and a half to do. So you're looking at about 12 to 15 hours.
At how much?
Yes, and I didn't do the original creation of the permit. Belial Engineering did all that, and they submitted the whole thing. So that that's why I was out of the loop on that one.
So Julie, it sounds like we're asking them for about $10,000 worth of work.
Wow, I'd like to get it done. I mean, what would the penalty be what would the potential penalty be if we don't get it done again?
Well, my thinking was not so much that we don't get it done. We've got to get it done. But if it's something that Richard can do, as he's on staff as a general manager, then there wouldn't be additional costs incurred through the engineering company.
Yeah, but remember,
I already have
Richard's. Okay, go ahead, Richard.
The initial cost for all of this to create the whole thing was done by Belial already. That's already done in the past. That was a big issue to get this thing created. The annual report, I actually did most of it this time to fill it out. So I actually have an outline of what they need now. And all I have to do is update it every year from this point on. So even if Taylor did it, it shouldn't be a big issue because I can just send him my outline and he can just fill it in. Or I can do it. It's up to you.
Well, like I said, I said 12 to 15 hours. That's like a max of $2,500. I don't know where the 10,000 came from.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that one out. Because if you had any
no.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much you charge per hour. So.
Oh, well, I wish I charged that would go up to 10,000. Maybe I get paid a little more, but that's not the case.
So what would it be? I mean, that's actually the first question. I got over talked.
It'd be around anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500.
Okay.
Do I have anybody want to make a motion on whether we have the engineers do it or Richard do it?
I'll make a motion that we have the engineers do it. This is Tim. I make a motion that we have the engineers do the MS4 report.
Okay. Do I have a second? Tom, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
There's other reports that have to be done throughout the year. Is that not correct, Taylor or Richard, somebody? I mean,
there's all
no, as far as reports go, there's permit renewals. and things of that nature that expire. Your wastewater treatment facility permit expires every 5 years. The stormwater permit itself expires every 5 years as well, and the annual reports.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to, Taylor, is we need somebody that's calendaring all of these reports that are coming up rather than getting notices and say, hey, you didn't do it. We should have them on our calendars now. And it be that if that's in your court, fine. If it's in Richard's court, fine. But somebody needs to be responsible to maintain a calendar of what reports are due, and so that we get them done on time.
So if you'll see in my report, I actually have the wastewater treatment facility permit renewal that when it expires at September 2023. So that's a running that I keep on file, and it's in my calendar to start at a certain period of time, along with a stormwater permit. And I'll add an additional note that says annual report submitted by 12/31 of 2021 that will be updated on a regular basis. So we are keeping track of all these as we figure out what all the district needs and stuff. We're keeping track of it, and Richard's helping us out.
Okay, well,
and let me also just add that there's some real benefit to having someone do it that does a bunch of these, because these permits come through the state of Texas, but the state is in turn permitted by the EPA, and the state of Texas doesn't have a long history of getting along well with the EPA, and so the timing of these permits can be very challenging, and the timing of the renewals and the timing of the reporting, and it's not an easy thing to follow. So we have plenty of districts that are submitting year 5 reports under a 3-year permit and stuff like that, because the TCQ hadn't renewed it's not easy. So
okay.
So Tim,
yeah, with all that said, then, if Tim would allow me to modify his motion just a little bit, that Taylor and his group would take over a calendar of maintaining these reports, which he already has going. And I would be more than ready to second that.
yeah, Tim, I'd also like to make an amendment to that as well. Let's authorize it up to the 2,500 that was estimated, if that's okay. So we get a cap on it.
Well, Gerard, I agree with
don't
your
wanna go with
amendment.
Yeah. I don't want to go with the $2,500 cap, and I'll tell you why. Because what happens when we run into a problem? Now Taylor has to stop and come back to the board for more. We need to get the report done. Period.
I agree.
I agree.
Tom, I think that-
Julie, that's I put it at the high end of Taylor's estimate.
Well, but we don't know what the laws are going to change. We don't know what requirements are going to change. We don't know anything right now, other than there's a report that's due on a certain day, at a certain time, in a certain schedule.
And guys, remember that I will be coming back to the board and letting you know that we've begun to do the annual report sometime around October or November, that we can touch base on this again. If I feel like that for some reason, since this will be the first report that we're doing for the district, that it may be more than that 2,500, I will gladly say something. We're not just going to go in and spend $10,000 and say, oh, it costs more. That's just not how we operate. We'll look into, we do these all the time. Obviously, with being a newer district for you guys, you're going to have a couple of hiccups along the way. But we'll come to you and say, okay, guys, we're putting together this report. Will you authorize the expenditure of this proposal? And we'll do it within that amount. We're not just it's nothing that's going on all year that we're just spending money on. It's going to be a specific time of saying, hey, we're doing an annual report. Here's what we're going to spend on it. Do you guys authorize this money at that time? So if anything, I would say that it'll all be, again, there will be a motion again on it at the time of we start doing the report. We're not just going to do the report and send a $10,000 bill and say, this is what it cost.
And this is for everybody on the board. I just want to, we hire these professionals because they're professionals. We didn't hire them because they were the cheapest. We didn't hire them because they were the best or the worst. We hired them for what we hired them for. Okay. And if we don't trust them, if we don't believe in them, we might as well get rid of them and find somebody else. That's my opinion.
Julie, I understand that. And we did hire them as professionals. but it's also the board's responsibility to provide oversight on the budget. And it seems like we've
That's
really been
correct, but
struggling
there's
with
other
that.
ways, there's other ways we need to do oversight on the budget besides things that we need to have done.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand that, but yeah, it is the board's responsibility for oversight.
Okay.
And budgeting, that whole process is part of it. But all of these approvals that we're doing without any type of cap, and it's not just this one. I mean, we've been doing a lot of approvals for expenditures that it's cost us to run in the red. That's part of why we're not.
No, hey, Gerard, let me correct you on one thing. We were in the red before you got on the board. This district has been running in the red for years.
But we don't want to continue doing that, right?
That's how our reserves got depleted. For years, this district has been
We're
running
kind
in
of
the
getting
red.
off topic here. Let's go back to our.
Okay, so anyway, we can discuss that some other time. But do I have a motion?
Well, I made my motion, and Tom, I think that your suggestion of having a calendar of events need to be monitored for renewing of permits and licenses and what have you. I think that should be a standalone motion. I'm not sure that needs to be part of this motion.
And I think that's just common sense. I mean, that comes along with what they do.
Yes.
I mean, like I'm gonna give you an example. I'm a CPA. I know when tax returns are due. I know what day quarterly reports are due. I know what day W-2s are due. I know what day things are due. I'm sure as professionals, they know what the deadlines are for certain requirements and certain reports.
My comment came from the point that we keep coming up with things that we got notices that we're late on. And that's the only reason I suggested.
But these were before we had.
I understand
these
that.
were all in the past. We're just now getting hit with things that were in the past. That's correct. So, okay. So do I have a motion or do I not have a motion?
Yeah, restate your motion, Tim.
I make a motion that we approve Vogler and Spencer to do the MS4 report and that they submit it on a timely basis.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Mark seconds it.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Julie,
Jim,
aye.
Gerard, no cap.
Okay. Tom, yay or nay?
I said yeah.
Okay. So we have four yes, one no. Gerard is no. Okay. Taylor, what else we got?
So I was able to obtain pricing from MagnaFlow. They gave me a per hour pricing of $395. This is capable of doing about 1,500 to 2,000 linear foot, and I kind of extrapolated that out as to what it would be about a day. So you're looking about a 10-hour day for about $4,000 per day. With that being said, I put on here, you can really split your district up into 4 quadrants to get a really good idea of what's going on in the sewer. With budget constraints, we probably could make that work with 2 quadrants. In talking with Richard as well, and kind of looking at some problem areas. That 1,500, 2,000 linear foot is based off of kind of continuation along a singular line, not picking up and jumping all over the place as well. So keep that in mind. And this is all in an effort, as we come up to the November possible bond election again and things like that. This is all to kind of build the information Gerard's looking for so that we have specific ideas of what's going on. I know in the bond, the first thing we would do would be televise all the lines, but this may help in the reduction of some of the money we're asking for, so that if we see that for some reason 75% of the line is great, then we can we can extrapolate and maybe reduce the cost a little bit. If we see 100% of the line is bad, maybe our costs are on par or low. So this is just really to get the best possible idea. Like I said, we can make it with 2 ideas. I'd bring you back an official price for what the 2 days would look like at the next meeting to get it going. But this is just.
If I can add, Taylor, you know, the deadline to call for November is mid-August, right? August 16th. So if we want to do it, we better do it pretty quick. I don't know that we can wait until next month to get MagnaFlow out there to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Then I would recommend 2 days at, you know, it's looking at to be about $4,000 per day, and just to get it done. And so you're looking at about $8,000 to $10,000, and that'll go through Richard contacting them, and we'd set it up with Richard and pointing the areas that we want him to hit on.
Okay.
I assume it'll be valuable no matter what, but we'll need that video. MagnaFlow will need to turn it around pretty quick. I know sometimes that takes some time. So
and again, we would direct them, and then when we come to actually doing the whole district, we wouldn't repeat the same lines. You know, we're going to keep a map of what we've done so far.
What's the time frame on getting that feedback from them as far as knowing what potential expenses would be involved for repairs? I mean, are they going to get it back to us in a week, or is it a month, or how long?
So if you guys authorize it today, we get them out into the district next week, and it probably takes another week to process the videos, and so we probably get them back the first week of August to evaluate them. And with that call being August 16th, I guess you guys have to have the bond authorization. Is that correct, Davis?
Plan is to talk about it later this meeting, about potentially a special meeting before that August 16th deadline, sometime not long before then. So.
Yeah. So I mean, we would have something back, and we definitely could get it into a bond authorization. It's as easy as switching the number up. We pretty much have the report done, and so if we found that the district was in a lot better shape than we originally assumed, we would reduce the number, or we would hold it on par.
And you could also probably have Richard or one of the guys out there or something like that with them, right? Or do something like that to get the information real time, right?
Yeah, we could definitely be seeing, if they're doing the lines and Richard or one of Richard's guys is out there with them, and I can talk with those guys. I mean, I know them all. We can be on the phone saying, hey, give me a heads up if it's just in terrible shape, so I can have an idea faster than just getting the videos.
Yeah, I'm usually with them when they do it all the time.
Good.
Hey, Richard, this is kind of going to number 5, combining 4 and 5. But do either one of you, Richard or Taylor, have we had any more sinkholes or sewer problems in the past couple of weeks?
No sewer problems. We did find a couple more sinkholes, but they were in the same spots over there off the golf course side where that other line. We know that line's deteriorated.
Okay.
The rest of them are holding up pretty good.
This is Gerard. Before we move away from the engineering report into number 5, did want to ask a question, Taylor. I see some updates to the engineering report. I didn't see anything that included the findings. Didn't know if that was included in the engineering report, or has the CIP been updated?
Findings as to what? I'm sorry, I'm confused.
So from whenever you walk through the district in preparation for the capital improvements plan, I mean, what I've seen in my professional experience has been, and it's not in engineering, it's in IT, but if you have an audit, right, you have somebody come in and do an audit. That's kind of what I think you guys came in and you did an inspection, a walkthrough, just kind of assessed everything. Right, and then before you come up with a plan, the CIP, before you actually come up with that, you give us a list of actual findings, specific things, a lot like what's in the FEMA report. I think it's the EIME report. I think you have a copy of it, to where you go through point by point and you say, hey, here's what we found specifically. Not so much as, well, here's what we think you need to have done based on historicals, but here's the findings. And the reason I think that that's so important is because, we are having some financial difficulties. We got a lot of repairs and we don't have a lot of money. So we want to, in my mind, I'd like to see the highest priority things fixed first. right? We don't have $15 million to run the full CIP program. So we really would like to see, I would like to see a list of the findings, the hard findings that you found, and get them in a list and let us look at them.
So, I mean,
I
the
think
thing about
he's
that is as far as the sanitary goes, I'm not going to have any findings because I don't have any video or anything like that. I got to make it a simple.
Understand that, but I'm asking for what you do have.
I think he's been presenting it at all the prior meetings. Go back and listen to the.
Julie, go back and look at the EIMME report. That's what I'm looking for, and that has not been presented.
Because they haven't been able to. They've only shot certain areas where we've had immediate needs to fix.
So
because we haven't had the money to shoot the whole district and
I
to.
understand that they haven't shot the whole district, but what I'm asking for is what they did find. You know, so you guys went into the water treatment facility, right? You had some findings and some recommendations there, right?
Mhm.
Right. So those are the kinds of things that I'm looking for. I mean, I want to know what you did find.
Okay.
And I assume Taylor, a lot of it is probably an age-based analysis, particularly on the sanitary sewer side, and just typical useful life projections.
That's a lot of it to do with both sanitary and storm pipe. You know, we did walk the ditch, and Gerard, you walked the ditch with me, and we pointed out certain things, and we talked about those items as well. I can put it into a list of items that we saw, and give it to you.
I really think we need that. I think that there's a lot of value in that. I mean, tell us what you saw as far as sinkholes. Let's get it documented. Tell us what you saw. I know there was some talk about just the aging of the exterior walls at the water plants. I mean, all of these things should be documented, and then it'll help us prioritize and figure out how much money we need and where we need to spend it first.
Well, hey,
So,
Gerard, those of us
let me-
that have spent 3 days with Taylor know where they are.
I thought we
Because
already
we've
had
spent
that
three
list.
days. We spent 3 days walking with them.
I mean, the CIP is kind of that list, but I can put together a full-blown report over the analysis of every single facility that you have. It's going to take some time and some money to do.
Just want a list of findings, not asking for a full-blown report, just a list of findings that you've already found. I think you said you had a spreadsheet somewhere where you already have that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just basic notes, but I can turn it into a presentable thing that I used to create the CIP.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's critical to doing the prioritization. I mean, I'm assuming that, the bond, we're not going to ask for $15, $30, $25 million again. So if we ask for, some number less than that, we're going to have to prioritize what we do. I know that we're going to have to spend some money on doing some video of the sewers. Understand that, and understand we don't know everything yet, but I want to know what we do know, and I'd like to know the specifics of it.
I will give you what I can.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks, Taylor. Can we go on to number 5 then? We good?
We do need to go back and talk about
Oh.
the resolution.
What about the-
Oh,
on
okay.
the,
Sorry. I missed that one.
bond application. TCQ requires that we have a resolution to submit an application. So this would be the board's formal authorization to submit the park bond application. You will find in Taylor's report a summary of costs, and you'll also find in your packet a corresponding resolution. You will also see, right now what we've done is we've allocated, as far as what I'll call the district proceeds, the bulk to the acquisition cost and $100,000 to improvements. I will say that, you could also choose to allocate the entirety to the improvements. I mean, the acquisition costs, with the understanding that future improvements would be paid from operating funds. But that's the board's discretion. But we would like to go ahead and get it approved so we can get it submitted and try and get it taken care of quickly as the board has indicated they would like for us to do.
Yeah, Davis, I think that's a really good idea to take that 100,000 from improvements and move it all to acquisitions. And then that would allow us to replenish our general operating fund so that we can get some of the repairs made.
Are you making a motion, Gerard?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that on the summary of costs for the bond issue, that district item number 2 for park improvements be removed and the 100,000 be shifted to district item number 1 for land acquisition to cover the legal costs, and that those costs be moved back into the general operating fund for repairs.
Wait.
Let me just say a couple of things real quick. One, I guess my question was the intent to approve the resolution and authorize the submission, and then 2, I don't think that we can vote to automatically move that money to operating funds. I think that there's some portion that we can get to operating in the near term. Some portion of the legal certainly, but the rest of it obviously is subject to a resolution of our kind of dispute. That makes sense.
Yeah, what I'm looking for is just a
Isn't this number coming out of the bond? Won't this number come out of the bond once we get it?
That's right. It will come out of the bond authorization.
Therefore, it cannot go to the general fund.
No, you can reimburse certain expenses from the general fund, certain kind of minor, I'll call preliminary expenses, but there are limitations for that. But we have discussed a settlement arrangement and a potential litigation arrangement that would potentially allow for the
that
general fund
500,000
balance to be increased.
Yeah, the part that would possibly go back into the general fund is that 500,000 we have in escrow right now.
Yeah, I don't think anybody argues about that.
Yeah. So what I need
Sorry,
is
Gerard, I didn't mean to mess you up there. I just want to make sure we have a workable approval.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I just saw that this was included in the pack, so I thought that's what we were going to be voting on. But if we're not voting on the specifics, in general, moving on with the total bond issue requirement, I'm fine with that. But I don't want to say that we're spending 100,000 on park improvements whenever we've got, I think, just in the current fiscal year, $89,830 worth of litigation expenses for legal.
okay. So do I have a motion approving the resolution for the filing of the application to TCEQ for approval of the bonds and for the TCEQ for the engineering projects?
And to include all for the summary of cost to be entirely acquisition.
Okay, and for the summary cost to be entirely acquisition.
I'll make that motion as worded.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Tom seconds. Okay. All in favor?
Oh my.
Gerard, yes.
Mark, yes.
Tim, aye.
Julie, yes. Okay. Did we cover everything on number 4?
Julie and Gerard, I'll need you at your next convenience to sign all the paperwork. I have it in my office so I can send it back to the attorney.
Okay, I'll get with you later, Richard, because I'm going to have to do it in the morning before I leave town.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, okay.
I'll get it signed this week, Richard.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Okay. Drainage matters and repairs. Is that a Richard or Taylor, or Richard and a Taylor?
For Holly Springs Drive, the drainage study we do have is underway. We've pulled an existing rainfall and topographic information into the maps, and I've attached an exhibit showing the existing flow patterns. To make a little sense of this map, the white arrows are showing where the natural rainfall tends to accumulate and go. As you can see, the existing inlet is the location where the flow is coming down the ditch in the homeowner's house that we got the complaints from. But if you do notice, as far as the drainage patterns come from the topo, it actually swirls around that house, and it kind of passes through all those houses and accumulates in this big green area, and then somehow works its way out to this Stidham Road down here to the bottom right, and doesn't actually make it to the ditch in what we would call kind of a 100-year storm event. I found that to be some interest. I did talk to our H&H professional today, and he had to put in the information for the 36-inch pipe. And it was showing that it was capable of carrying all of the rainfall that's coming into the ditch, which is good. He was putting in the rest of the pipes to analyze downstream to make sure it was going all the way through. One of the issues, as well as we know, is that 36 inch is pretty heavily damaged as well. And of interesting note, it comes down the street as it comes down Stone Mountain Drive. It goes into a 60-inch that feeds into a manhole. Then there's a 30-inch that feeds into the manhole, and then the outfall is a 48-inch. So that was kind of interesting to find out that the outfall was undersized by quite a bit. So we're still
Taylor, just so you know.
Yes, sir.
Just so you know, I've heard some neighborhood gossip in the last few days that land that's draining into that ditch that we went and visited, the junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing some additional landscaping, we'll call it, in that area to improve the flow of water into his little inlet that he dug.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, based off of this map, I don't believe he's changing any drainage patterns, because this is not picking up his ditch as it's seen here. He's kind of directing the flow and conforming it all to a singular location to deliver it to the same area that it looked like it was already going.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that he's
okay.
I wouldn't say without more research he's causing an additional issue, because that looks like where the water naturally goes anyways.
Well, I found out the other day that the Montgomery County Commissioner, Precinct 2, was out there and was witness to a pipe that he had put in, draining that 20 acres or whatever it is into that ditch, as well as the president of the CIA. So we have two witnesses that show that he did make some modifications to the drain or to the flow. If that's of any import, I don't know. But just so you know, there are witnesses that were out there and did see it.
Yeah.
I'm making a quick note of this.
Hey, folks, don't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to announce myself, Monty Campbell from Prepared Publications, on the call. I'm one of the website vendors. Just want to let you know who I am.
Yeah.
Hey, Monty.
I'll go on mute until you're ready for us.
Okay. Okay.
With all that being said, that's just to kind of give you guys a heads up that we are working through all the information. We've made some progress, and depending on when the next meeting is, hopefully we can have the report out by then. If it's pushed up too much, it may cut it close, but we'll do our best.
Okay. Richard, do you have anything you need to add to the
No, not at this time, not in that area.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? Did we get, we got all those 4 that we were working on finished, or are we still working on one of them? The 2
sewer
on
line?
RP, Roanoke, and Macon. Those are all done?
Oh, those are all done, yes.
Okay. Okay. Review the financial, oh, can we go on to number 6?
Well, I'd like to ask
Okay.
Taylor, if you had a chance to find out anything on that GLO, that I asked you to look into. I know you've been busy, but was curious.
Yes, sir. I have briefly touched base with it. It's up on my computer right now to do, and I will promise to give you some feedback by Friday, and give you a call, and we can discuss it a little more.
Okay, so my conversation with the mitigation division people was there was a possibility we might could get some help out of there.
Okay.
At any rate, the other question I have, and I don't know if it's specifically for you, is I've been trying to make sense out of this Texas Water Board program that they approved for 2022. I guess it's really from 2020 to 2030. But I noticed when I'm going through parts of it that they specifically have us named with a price tag of around $13 million. And I don't know if that means we're spending the money, they're giving us the money, what the deal is, or what it's for. But if have you seen that?
I have not. Davis, do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about a TWDB drainage funding request.
Well, I don't know that they're funding repairs. They approved their plan, their 10-year plan, basically, and we are specifically mentioned in it in a couple of places, as well as us and East Plantation together. And I think they approved it last Monday, if I'm not mistaken, when I was watching them. But I'm trying to figure out what it's all about. Sir?
Richard, do you know anything about that?
No, it's at least my understanding, it's a general thing that they put together. They based it on, okay, this is what we would allot for the entire area. If it actually comes to fruition through certain things that are passed and they get the funds, then yes, you can look at that and apply for it. But it's kind of like the Lone Star Groundwater when they're doing their DFR projections. They figure that's what you might spend.
I guess I would just ask a couple of people look into it. Let's see if we can figure out if we're impacted in some way. Maybe I'm not smart enough to figure it out by myself.
I'll try to take a look at it, Tom, and see what it is. I just hadn't had a chance.
Definitely worth a phone call, and that
Well,
generally the TWDB puts together a as Richard said, a kind of projected cost of necessary improvements, and then the funding that is made available is less than that.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
projected cost.
I haven't figured out exactly what they're talking about, but I saw that number associated with us.
Sure. No,
and I'm still trying to figure it out. Hopefully some other people can help me figure this out before we get a negative impact on it. That's all I got right now.
Okay. Are we good to go to number 6? Or do you want to, before we do that, Tom, do you want to do your thing on the webpage so we can get these guys off of here if they don't want to stick around all night?
Well, yeah. Is Off Cinco on site? I mean, are you with us?
I saw him come up a minute ago.
We had two of the companies said they were going to try to be here tonight. Are they both here?
Yep.
Yeah.
I see them.
Hi there.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. Well, if we're skipping down in the process, so if everybody wants to, I guess everybody wants to drop down there. We're talking about the our current web page. And there's a couple of reasons that I wanted to look at this. First one was the cost associated with it and some of the benefits that we were deriving from it. I went into it with the idea that maybe we could save money and get more benefits. And I'm still pursuing that at that avenue. Just so some of you know, Richard sent out to the directors, I believe today or yesterday, an updated price list for off Cinco. They requested to update their pricing, and so we obviously said sure. And that's so that's what you got in the mail just the other day. And I'm stalling while I'm trying to find my stuff. Because Judy
You
got
want me to
mad
send
at
it to
me.
you, Tom? I gotta pull
Well,
it up.
I've got it here. I just wasn't ready for it. I had other stuff in front of it. But at any rate, if everybody's got that spreadsheet that I put out, you can take a look at that. And what's included with your package, you have information from OffCinco, who is our current supplier, on the webpage. Then there's also information from Rural Water Impact, and there's information from them. And there's sites that I hope some of you got to look at over prior. Prepared Publications also has information here, and Hot Dog Marketing. I love some of these names. But at any rate, all four of these people do work with MUDs around the area. Well, throughout the state. Let me put it that way. So, with that said, I don't know the best way to do it. I guess, Shannon, are you out there? You want to talk to us about, since you're our current, you want to talk to us about that? See if anybody got questions?
Sure. So I did send over some pricing. You had talked about wanting the option to manage the website on your own. So I did reduce our pricing down so that it was just the cost of the server, and then you all could do the maintenance on the website by logging into it and doing it. So that would bring your monthly fee down to only $25.
I may have given you or maybe you misunderstood me. I didn't necessarily say we wanted to manage it ourselves. What I did say is one of the companies, that's what they offer. And Richard and I agree that maybe we're not suited to do it ourselves.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so I didn't mean to mislead you. I apologize for that.
Oh, okay, yeah. With the Rural Water Impact, their website requires you to monitor the website yourself. So,
right.
Well, I did include pricing for our email and text alert system is added in there. If you wanted to add that in to your monthly fee, it's $50 for email messaging services each month. And that's just the cost for the base fee. And then, of course, that if you wanted us to do it, we can do the email messaging for you. But if you wanted access to that system to do it yourself, you could do that too. So yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, I was under the impression that you guys wanted to maintain the site yourself. So the majority of your monthly fee right now is the 8 email accounts that you have. They are they're a certain level, so they're $15 per month that is required for the legal hold that has to be placed on each account. So that's why they cost a little bit more than maybe your standard or your free account. So those 8 accounts at $15 a month are the majority of your fee. The monthly hosting on the site is only $25 per month. So yeah, that's it. That's the lowest we can go is $25 per month plus your email accounts.
So I guess my question, I'm sure the other board members have questions, but my question, can you tell me if we go with, we stay with your company, we have the email accounts and the email alerts and text messaging. Can you tell us what our base monthly fee would be and what add-ons that we might have?
So if you had the $25 for the hosting and email and text alerts, you would be looking at $125 per month.
And that would be
That's the base fee for those services.
That would have the text messaging, the email blast, and you monitoring and posting all that.
No, that's just the $25 for hosting the site for the server, and then the $50 per month for each of those services. So if you wanted us to do updates, we could bill you by the minute instead of doing the flat rate we do right now. We could just bill you for the occasional updates that you send us. But we could give you access to the site if you guys wanted to do the other updates yourself.
Okay. Well, what I'm really looking for, is there a base fee? I mean, we have these things that we're going to do. Is there a base fee that we could expect each month? And once we get that, what add-ons would we expect?
Well, right now you pay $250 per month, and that includes all of your normal monthly updates. That doesn't include your email accounts.
Okay, so the email accounts would be?
Those are $15 each, and you have 8 of them.
Okay, Let me find my calculator here. I'm gonna have
So that's
to.
120, is that right, Shannon?
For the email accounts?
Yeah.
Yeah, 120 a month for the email accounts. And that's, you know, they cost us about $13.95 plus tax per month. So you're paying $15 per month for the email accounts.
Okay.
You talked about.
You have, you know, one for each board member, plus you have some for your staff.
Davis, maybe you can help me. You said there's a legal hold on it. So can you say that's increasing the cost? What is that for?
Well, I can probably explain that. So by law, the email accounts for your district, we have to make sure that those emails can never be deleted by anybody. So there's basically a vault system in the back that keeps the emails from ever being deleted. So that email account costs more. It's just for compliance with the legislation. Pardon?
That they're public records that have to be preserved.
Right. So sometimes there is a little bit of concern because the emails are $15 per month, but that's the cheapest we can get an email account that has storage like that. I mean, we can have high storage accounts. The security measure to keep stuff.
Not argue that. What I'm trying to get to is what we can expect. So if I'm hearing you right, we're probably looking at $375 a month base, and that's if you don't do anything else.
You currently pay $370 per month.
Okay, but what if you take 125 plus 120 for the emails and $50 for the email blast, and what was the other 50 was monitoring or something?
Well, right now you pay $250 per month.
Right.
Which includes the hosting and all of the normal updates that you send to us. And then also us making sure your website stays compliant with current laws. And then you also got your email account. So your base fee every month is $370 for all of those services. And then, you know, on previous months, you've had some extra costs because we had to do some audio recording uploads. We had to do a bunch of election documentation and postings that are not part of the normal things that we get on a monthly basis. So those were just additional charges. I think 3 or 4 hours worth of work went into all of those election documents.
So I guess from my mind, and I'm kind of simple here, so I'm looking at $370 a month. And then let's say we have to send out a meeting on an email blast, and we have to send out something else on the email blast. Is that going to affect the $370? Will it add to it? Take it away?
Well, so if you wanted us, right now you're paying the $370 per month, which includes us monitoring the site. And so that's an extra $100 a month for us to keep the site compliant. If you wanted to have us stop doing that, like if you wanted to just do that sort of thing in-house and make sure that you check the site to make sure it's compliant, that $100 we could then put the email and text alert system. So you would basically be at the exact same place. So for $370, you can have all your updates that come monthly, your hosting, email, and text alerts for $370, and your email accounts.
Yeah, still, for some reason, I don't think I have it, but I'll let the other board members ask some questions.
Sure.
Hopefully they've looked at some of the other sites too.
Hey, Richard, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is this does that 8 emails include that new one that we talked about for Election Central, or is that going to be a 9th one?
No, that'll be a 9th one.
Okay.
What is it that you have to do with it? Does somebody actually have to, do they just need to be forwarded to somebody? Because we could just do a forwarding email that wouldn't cost anything each month. If you don't need somebody to actually send emails from that account, then we could just do a forwarding.
Yeah, I think they just have to be forwarded.
Yeah, then that's not an extra account. That's just a forward.
Okay.
George, you're good on these numbers. What do you got any questions for him? Or did you leave him?
I guess the only thing that was unclear to me at this point was, you know, we're going to need recordings uploaded on a monthly basis, the recordings of our meetings, and I was unclear as to whether or not that would be included or not in the 370.
So when we first started working with the district a couple of years ago, that flat fee that we offered is just 1 hour per month. It's for the normal monthly updates. So posting your agenda and your upcoming meeting information, that sort of thing. With COVID, you added in the recordings, so that's something that wasn't part of our flat rate, so that was additional. So normally each year we would just assess your average hours and then we would just give you a new flat rate. So theoretically we would give you a new flat rate soon, just to see what you're averaging each month. And for the most part, your invoices are usually around 370 to maybe 450 with any additional things that you do. But again, we are, it's a lot of that cost is your email accounts, and a lot of that cost is just 1 or 2 hours a month for us to do your normal updates to the site. So.
Anyone else got any questions?
Not for her.
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Good with her.
well, appreciate it. I'm still not clear. I still think there's cost. I don't think it's going to stay at 370 for some reason. But at any rate,
And Shannon, can I ask one question? How many? Can you give us some idea of how many MUD districts y'all in the state of Texas y'all work on?
So we manage the website content and the legislation requirements for about 800 districts in the state of Texas. So we handle the majority of the district websites and content in the state.
That sounds busy. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, I guess. Sounds like everybody's got their questions answered. And as far as I know, the only other one that's here is Prepared Publications. Is what is it? Mr. Campbell, I guess. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Anybody got questions for Mr. Campbell? I guess then if they don't, if you want to go ahead and give us kind of overview what you're offering.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about the company if that's okay first, and then I'll shut up and let you answer questions. Thank you for having me this evening and giving us the opportunity to propose our services. I founded Prepared Publications about 15 years ago with a focus then on publishing HOA newsletters. That's still a part of our business, but we've grown considerably since then, and we're a full service marketing company. We manage the websites for dozens of HOAs around the greater Houston area. We publish their printed newsletters as well. We have a full service printing facility, as I mentioned to Tom. We cater to the, let's just call it the municipal government, HOA, MUD type of markets, but we have a lot of commercial customers too, some that you might recognize. Methodist Hospital, Memorial Hospital, AMCAP Mortgage are all customers on the print side. We have a mailing segment that is pretty substantial. We put about 150 to 200 pieces of 150 to 200,000 pieces of mail in the mail stream a month. We're a tier 2 mailer with the post office, so we're full service. We provide websites, graphics design, printing, mass mailings as well, and a lot of companies depend on us for all three of those services. We do e-blasts for a lot of our HOA clients. Those lists are in the tens of thousands of email addresses we're blasting to on a monthly basis. I sent over our proposal. It's a la carte. The 3 items that Tom had asked me to include are on there. The first one is the website. We have a one-time design fee of $300 to design the website and transfer over all of your existing files and images and content from your existing website to the new website. That's a one-time fee. And then it's just $75 a month afterwards. And that includes hosting, backing it up, secure socket layer, and probably most important is unlimited updates each month. We don't charge by the update or by the minute to make an update or anything like that. We have one flat monthly fee of $75 a month, and the updates are unlimited. That includes posting minutes, posting agendas. If you wanted us to add a bunch of pages, something like that, you're running your election, we need to add more information. There's no extra fee for any of that. It's just a flat $75 a month. I would say probably 99% of the updates are made the same day. The reason I say 99%, if you've got quite a large bit of updates, we may say, hey, give us another day on that. We'll have it for you tomorrow. but certainly within 48 hours we make all the updates. Again, there's dozens of HOAs depending on us to do that. We understand the model. Sometimes it means weekends and nights because we've got to get something up, right? Something is happening with the governance you have, and you want your website to reflect that. So we have a model, a team that can support that. I do have items in there for both email blast and text messaging. It's certainly something we can provide. I provided some adjusted pricing to Tom because we didn't know in the beginning how many subscribers you have, and he kindly let me know it would probably be next to none or very little. So we can certainly scale our pricing down on the e-blast and text messaging based on the number of subscribers you have. And then email accounts, I think like OffSynco, we're at $15 a month. That's about a standard rate, folks, on email. That's Microsoft Office 365 email accounts. So, kind of the gold standard of email accounts, 50 gig of storage per account and so on. And we can increase those if your needs require that. With that, let me be quiet and answer any questions you have.
Okay, I guess the first thing I would ask you is the same question that I asked Shannon, and that is, can you give us what our base rate would be for the service, the email, text blast, and it looks like we need 8. That's what I'm understanding, 8 email accounts.
8 email accounts. Okay, because I know originally we were thinking it might be 6.
Yeah, I was thinking 6, but I guess I was wrong. Which
no worries. Give me 1 second. So it'd be 120 for the email accounts a month, plus 75 for the a month for the unlimited updates to the website, and then an extra 50 for the 50 for the texting in the email blast. Did you get that, Tom?
Yes, I did. So
120 plus 75 plus 50, 245.
That's 245.
Yeah.
And that's for unlimited email blast, unlimited updates, and all storage monitored, the whole everything. Now, do you represent any MUD accounts?
We represent one. Most of our accounts, and I understand that's a contrast between OffSynco and their large portfolio. Most of our accounts are HOAs. That's where we focused, and that's where we built quite a bit of a portfolio. We haven't been asked to bid on a lot. Those MUD websites, for some reason, don't come up to bid very often, but we were invited to bid on one about 2 years ago, and that's the West Keegan's Bayou Improvement District, and they contracted with us to do that. And they're also one of our references. So Mike Emerson is the president of that MUD, and he could gladly talk to you about our services. But one MUD and dozens of HOAs on both websites, e-blast, and printed newsletters as customers.
So we're just talking a flat fee of $245 a month for all this service.
That's correct. And we have add-on services too, like I kind of mentioned a few. If you need document storage, you need graphics design, you need a mass mailing, maybe for your elections or something like that, signs, banners, we literally are a one-stop shop. You wouldn't have to go out anywhere else for that kind of service.
Okay.
And you manage it. So if we needed to make an update or a change, that's something that you do, or we're managing it?
We manage it. We don't support a model where our customers manage it. We don't want to turn you into frustrated website developers. Plus, we're available. I always say that the idea of a volunteer doing it is great until that volunteer is on a European vacation, when there's something that's got to be posted. So we're here. We have a business for it.
Good. Okay.
So I guess my only question is, do you monitor for all the legal updates that we have to have and all the legal requirements and everything that change every 6 months, every year, whatever?
Yeah, Julie, great question. So we do, and I think being in this industry, we've got to be tuned in to you know, the Senate bills that come out that affect HOAs and MUDs, and we do that. We're not we're not the arbiter of of that. You know, your attorney will be the arbiter of what you know, and they'll advise you on what should and shouldn't be there. But absolutely, we coach our clients and say, hey, this Senate bill is coming down. It looks like it's going to change requirements for your your meeting agenda posting, you know, and where you have to post it even sooner. And, you know, just to make you aware. But I can guarantee you, you will never wait on us for that information. We'll provide it.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions?
Monty, this is Gerard. I do have one question for you around storage. You went through updates and hosting and SSL. Was storage an add-on or is storage included? I think you have 50 gig that may be included. 50 gig per email account, Gerard. And if you wanted something bigger, we could do that obviously at a little bit more higher cost, but 50 gig per email account is included. Okay, that's per email account. What about for recordings of the minutes? We would quote you a price if you needed that kind of mass storage, you know, on something that would be something like a Dropbox account or, you know, to do something like that, because those recordings can get pretty big. Okay, yeah, I do think that that we'll need something like that. Okay, we could definitely quote you on that. Okay, thanks. Mm-hmm. And we also offer social media management. I think I mentioned that to Tom. So if you did want to have a Facebook page, Instagram, something like that, we have a model where we make 10 posts a month for you so you can have a social media presence and be meeting your constituents out there as well. So that's another service we provide.
Is that an extra fee or is that part of the service?
It's an extra fee. So $125 a month, and we'll make 10 posts a month, either to a Facebook page or, you know, Instagram or something like that. For a MUD, I would think a Facebook page would be suffice for what you want to do. But it's 10 posts a month, and it's curated, meaning if you've got information to post, like obviously your meetings are coming up, we're going to post that information. But let's say you don't have 10 of those type of items per month. We're going to curate the content to make up the 10 posts. What do I mean by that? It's going to be, we're going to curate articles about water conservation, Texas laws that are affecting MUDs and things like that. We'll go find that content, curate it to your specific need, and post it for you. So you've always got timely content.
Anyone else have questions?
No, that's pretty all inclusive.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I don't, with Shannon and Money, that's the only two I know that are out there. Are there any representatives from Rural Water or Hot Dog Marketing online tonight?
Oh, I'll take that as a no.
Yeah, me too.
So Tom and Julie, to save you guys the trouble of having to move vendors, if we did $250 a month for all of your updates that you send us, and we can throw in the email and the text messaging service, and then your email accounts would be additional. So for $250 a month plus the email accounts, we can just do all your updates for you and your email and text message alerts. One flat fee. There's your number that you were looking for.
Yeah, that's what I've been asking for.
So it would be the hosting, all of your updates,
50 plus
and email
120.
and text alert system, plus your email accounts.
Yeah, so that'd make it 370.
Yep.
Yep.
370.
Is that not correct?
Correct.
So I guess that we're there. I guess if we want to make a decision, Julie, I'll turn it over to you guys if you want to. I think if somebody wants to make a recommendation, a motion, or whatever, we're at that point. I hope everybody got a chance to look at the work for Opcinco and for Prepared Publications, because they both have good websites, and it sounds to me like they can both do the job.
Okay.
Tom, we're familiar with Opcinco. What about references for published and all the others as well?
Well, did you not get the package I sent out to everybody? Had Richard send out?
I'm looking
got
at
it.
But I didn't see references.
Well, on the right-hand side, there were references, well, matter of
The
fact,
examples, is that what you're referring to?
yeah, there were samples, but there's also I'm trying to find Monty's. It was
On page 2 of our proposal, at the very bottom, there's a testimonial and 3 references. The very bottom.
Okay, that may be part of the packet, the electronic packet. I was looking at the hard copy of the packet that was delivered.
Well, I think that they're in there too.
Nope, definitely don't see them.
Yeah, they're on the bottom
Yep.
here. It's the following references will gladly speak to you. Susan Ramirez, Bridgewater, who's the other one? West Keegan Bayou Improvement District.
That's the MUD.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Sue Beck with Country Village, but he had 3 references on his as well.
Yeah, it's on the second page if you haven't seen it. Second page at the far bottom.
Okay, well, it's not in my packet. I know that. I'm looking at it. It's not here.
It should have been in the one Richard sent out, because I know it's 2 colored pages that were in the electronic one that came to you. Where it's at the top of it says the right website and communication solution. But anyway, it's on there, unless you didn't get yours somehow.
It's not included in my pack, Tom. I just went through it again.
Okay. It was in mine, is all I know. Was it in yours, Julie?
Yeah, it was in mine.
Okay. Well, I know there's more than 3 of us here.
Tim's on there.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you see it in your packet? It's the page. There's a page with like 4 people on it. Four people. And then the next, that's his first page. And then the second, or I guess his first page of his thing, second page of his thing. Then the next page at the bottom has his references and that.
It's in black.
It says
With white
testimonial
print.
and references.
References.
It's
Yeah,
down there in the black part with white lettering.
Yeah.
I see the page with 4 people. Maybe I'm missing a page.
Well,
Yeah, right there. So you guys tell me, do we want to make any decisions tonight?
If I could say something, this is Mark.
Yeah.
If we could have, I don't know, a better spreadsheet with apples to apples and oranges to oranges.
How could I don't know
I'm
what else I
looking
could
at
put
it.
in.
There's a lot of information in there, and it's a good spreadsheet, Tom. But
I mean, what more
you know,
information
some
can
of
I
them,
put?
one it says quote received on phone, very similar to off Cinco, but that doesn't tell me a lot.
That's just my comment. Hot dog and off Cinco basically were the same, except for maybe some of the pricing.
Right.
That was just kind of like my summation.
You know what I would like to see, Tom? And this is nothing. I would like to see like 8 emails and then have the 4 companies that bid it across and see, yes, this one includes it for this price. This one's this price. This one's this price. And the next line so that we can kind of look at them and compare them.
Well, I thought that was there. I gave you their price list. I gave you. So.
Well,
I mean,
it
and
kind
so-
of is, but it kind of isn't. So
So do we have a motion? Do we have a motion?
Not yet.
do you want to make a motion, Gerard?
I don't. No. If we
Okay.
don't have a motion, I'd like to move on.
Yeah, I'd like to, can we table this until, and Tom, I can help you put it together for the next meeting?
Okay, but before they go, then let me make sure we have
Okay.
understanding. Because as far as I'm concerned, we're down to these 2. They're the only 2 that
Probably.
are here tonight.
Probably, because the rural water, you have to do your own website,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Scratch
so
them off right
off-
now.
Off Cinco, I think we're looking at $370 a month with no additional charges. as I
So
understand.
if there's no motion, can we move on, please?
No, I'm talking now. Okay, I don't stop you. And then on prepared publications, I think we're looking at $245 a month. Both of those would include email and text blasts. Okay. All right. So if those are the only 2, we can put something together on that.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that
Together.
real
And
quick.
I would tell both of you, we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. And we appreciate you being with us this evening. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having us.
Gerard.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank
have a
you.
good evening.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. Yep. All right, Tom, when I get back, I'll help you with that. So, okay, moving on to, are you good with that, Tom? Are
No,
you
I'm kind
done?
of upset. I mean, I'm sitting here looking, we've got Gerard's always talking about saving money. We got a difference of $100 a month right off the top, and he doesn't recognize it. So any rate, and then tells me to shut up. I'm tired of that. All right, but at any rate, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Number 6, review the financial and bookkeeping matters, the bookkeeper's report. Do we have any questions on the bookkeeper's reports? Richard, if nobody else does, I have one question. The cruise tax, is that a final bill or is that a partial bill?
That's the final.
That's the final. Okay.
On the
Yeah, I was
bookkeeper's
gonna ask
report,
about
I
that,
would
too.
like to thank Richard for the work that he did to get the legal breakdown for the different categories. Thank you, Richard.
Oh, you're welcome. Julie, if I may, is Davis and Bonham still on? I mean, Davis and Paul?
Right
Right
Davis. Yep.
I'm here. Yes, of course.
Okay, I got a question for both of you. I received another bill today, and I'm breaking these out based on what my understanding is. If it says PSR in the top corner, I'm assuming this is Paul's work, and of course the DJB is Davis's work. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm understanding that Davis is our general counsel, and Paul is our litigation for the majority. Is that correct?
That's correct, Richard, but I'll also direct you to, at the top of the bill, there is a matter number and a description of the matter. And so the 002 matter is general legal, and the, is it 070, Paul? Or
072.
know off the top of your head.
No, it's generally 070, but if we have a special thing like Charleston, sometimes we'll set that up in a new matter number so we can track it. So there may be like an 072 kind of thing like that.
Well, the reason I'm asking you all these questions is the latest one I got today, you know, I'd have to almost break this bill down by line because PSR, which is Paul, he's addressing issues regarding the adjustment of utility rates for the district. To me, that's general counsel. And then you go down to a couple of things farther. Now he's just discussion rates pertaining to Charleston. To me, that's litigation, and this is on the same bill. And so I've got 5 items that are client communications for Charleston and other issues for the park issues, Charleston settlement preparations and stuff. And on the same bill, I've got 9 other items that are basically general counsel and telephone conferences regarding district issues. Now, is that litigation or is that general counsel or what? How do I break that out?
Well, Richard, let me offer what assistance I can on that, and we're happy. Again, we're the lawyers to help the district. We're consultants that specialize in this, and we want to do whatever it takes to make y'all operate in an efficient way and an effective way. So we're not telling you how it has to be. I'll just tell you what I've been doing personally, what I've been doing. So my role, I've got over 20 years experience in the MUD world, and it's focused on litigation, but I am able to do general counsel work. And I also have a great specialty in drainage issues. And so, you know, my role has been on the Charleston case and to provide advice to the district on various other matters. And Davis is the general counsel that keeps the engine running. And so I've just been putting, most of the time I put my time under the 070 because that tracks what Paul Raddick does. If there is a different way to do, if we want to track it by task, I can put some of my time under other matters. But usually mine is outcroppings of, you know, we've received, since I've started representing y'all maybe 3 years ago, Davis has represented y'all longer, but you know, I come in when trouble starts happening. We've received numerous demand letters related to drainage and other issues, parks, things like that. And so all of that is related to my work as your sort of trial counsel and disputed matters counsel, which is why I generally keep it all on the same matter. That's how most of my clients want to see it. But if there's a different way we need to do it for you guys, we're totally happy to do it.
Okay, it's just, since I'm having to break it out now, I'm trying to make sure I code it right, because now I've got it broke out with the with the bookkeeper, and I have to know how to code this thing.
Yeah, and I get that, Richard, and I don't think, again, I'm happy to change how we're doing it, but basically what I've done is track, the assistance I provide the district, and Davis tracks the assistance he provides the district. And that's why we have the different matter numbers, so that you can see we're not billing you for the same things. That's basically how this started. And so I think that what I'm really hearing is that you're wanting to do a good job. And I just don't think we should overly worry about it. You can, a lot of our work sort of cross-pollinates. And so when I'm giving advice on drainage matters, which is something I do a lot and I'm very good at it, that is general counsel work and litigation counsel work, because I see it from the eye of what we need to do to help the district and its constituents, and how do we also protect the district in a situation, for example, where we don't have the money to fix everything we think we need to fix. So I think that, subject to the board's input here, I mean, I just think we're taking it a little too, I don't want to use the word seriously. I don't know a better word right now, but my time can go on any of those. It really cross-pollinates. So, Richard, I would just say, pick one, use your judgment, but don't worry about it. It's not a test. No one's going to come and say, hey, Richard, why'd you put this on litigation, not GC, or vice versa? I don't think that's the whole purpose of this. Julie, does that sound about right?
It sounds right to me, but I think we had a board member that wanted it broken down by what everybody was doing. So I think that's where Richard got it. He's getting a request from a board member.
Well, it's got
basically Gerard wanting it broken down.
Thanks for calling me out on that, Julie.
No.
Well, you're on recordings for the last 3 meetings.
Well, and I want all of the board to be satisfied with this, and so I just honestly it costs. I'll say it in maybe a different way. It costs y'all more money, or at least it's less efficient, if I have to, in the middle of a conversation, okay, I'm transitioning to my general counsel hat, so I better put this time over here. I'm just doing my best to be efficient and minimize the cost to the district. And I think you can go off of the words in the entry and just, pick the one that fits best, Richard. That's what I would say. Just pick the one that fits best. If Gerard is happy with that and everyone else is happy with it, I think that's good enough. I think the idea was just to track categories of spending, but it's not a test. No one's going to say, why is this in the wrong category? So I would read the entry and see which one it makes sense to you for the internal purposes and put it there. And I'm keeping track of it the way we've always kept track of it, so that y'all can see bills from our firm that tell you why we think we're doing what we're doing for you. We want to only do work that you think is helpful. If you tell us at some point, don't do this, we won't do it. We may tell you we think you should, but I put it down in the way that I think makes the most sense. And if you categorize it after that, feel free to just pick a category, Richard. No one's going to come behind you, I don't think, and say you did it wrong.
Yeah, Paul,
okay, no problem.
I don't have any problem with that. I think the preponderance of your work that you do, and tell me if I'm wrong, but the preponderance of the work that you're doing is around litigation. There might be some for general counsel with consultation on drainage, but most of what you do, right, is for litigation.
Yes, and that's what
we're trying to do.
No, that's right, Gerard. That's why it makes sense to, at least to me, why I keep it the way I do. Most of what I do revolves around Charleston condemnation and the demands and other things that the citizens, the CIA, and others, East Plantation, put on the district. And so that's the bulk of my work. And then I'm able to give you the benefit of additional advice on other areas by my involvement. But it's the vast majority is litigation or whatever, responding to letters, that kind of stuff. That's what I do. You're correct on that, Gerard.
Richard, go ahead.
Okay.
I think I jumped in right before you. Go ahead, Richard.
Okay, so I think that what I'll do is if I see the PSR in the corner, I'll just categorize that as litigation because that's the general term you're using for not only Charleston, but other areas that I can see now a little bit more clearly as to how it would work. But it would still fall into that category of litigation on whatever, the drainage subject or whatever. So I'll keep doing it that way.
I think
that's right, Richard.
Okay, no problem. I got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Of course.
I've got a comment about what was one of the things that was just mentioned about the way the billing is stated. Telephone conferences with board members. I think that we need to, as a way of reducing the cost that we've got, that we need to have one person on point that deals with the attorneys rather than every one of us having the ability to contact Davis or Paul at any given time. I know I never call them. I don't, I send them an email on occasion or a text message maybe, but I never call them. And I know that obviously based on the bill, we've got teleconferences with board members that are going on, and I think we need to narrow it down to Julie being the key point person. If I've got a question about something, I give it to Julie, and she can contact the attorneys to get it answered.
I agree with you, Mark. That's the right way to do it, but I can't understand how all this breaking this down in the time we're spending is going to save us any money. It just seems to me like it's costing us money.
Okay. Do we have any other questions on the bookkeeper's reports? Nope. Okay. Tax assessor collectors reports. Any questions on it?
No.
We're getting down to where we're getting the pittance until December, January, whatever. So.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. C, review the truth in taxation calculations for the district's 2021 tax rates. Is that you, Davis? Or is that Richard?
Not me.
Oh. Davis, you're muted.
Okay. We don't have the calculations yet. Richard, you haven't seen them, have you?
No.
Yeah. We include them because we're asked to adopt your tax rate pretty quickly in Montgomery County, but we don't have the calculations yet.
Okay. Richard, do you know what day? Isn't it sometime in August, like the 15th or the 16th of August? It's got to be back in.
Yeah, I included a calendar in the email I sent out to everybody. It's for the Tammy McCrae tax rate adoption calendar. It's listed on all the dates that we have to meet those deadlines.
Okay. I think
we
maybe
don't have
that's where I saw it.
So the issue is you have a tax assessor and you have an appraisal district, and the tax assessor would like for the appraisal district to certify values more quickly than they do. So we're always in a tight kind of time frame with a number of the county tax assessors. So
okay.
Yeah, as soon as I get that final certification, I'll send it to Bonham, and then I'll send you guys a copy of it. But I don't have that yet either.
Okay.
Because we have to have the certified values to be able to make those calculations. If we don't have an average home value in the district, we can't we can't do those calculations.
Right. But the calendar has been set. We have to present notice on the August 23rd, and then the meeting on the August 26th is to record the proposed rate, and then September 6th is the notice for the public meeting, and September 10th is the public meeting to approve the tax.
Okay.
We do have the resolution designating the district as a developed district.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I was going next with the next one, to adopt the resolution. I was trying to look at the date of what August 23rd is.
Sure.
And that's actually the Monday
so
before.
It's a Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
So
as soon as you
Senate
guys
Bill 2
adopt that, I have
requires
it
us-
here in my office.
Oh, go ahead, Richard.
As soon as you guys adopt it, I do have a copy of that here in my office, which I'll have to get you to sign tomorrow, Julie, so I can forward all this on as well.
Okay. Davis, do you want to explain what it is?
Sure. So Senate Bill 2, the kind of high profile tax bill that passed recently, or I guess in the not most recent legislative session, but the one prior, requires the board to make a determination as to the status of the district. And a developed district is classified as a district that has financed, completed, and issued bonds to pay for all lands, works, improvements, facilities, plants, equipment, and appliances necessary to serve at least 95% of the projected build out of the district. So to the best of my knowledge, the district is as developed as it's going to get. And therefore, under Chapter 49 of the Water Code, you would be considered a developed district for purposes of your tax rate adoption.
Okay. Do we need to have a motion to adopt that resolution?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. Does somebody want to make a motion to adopt the resolution that we are a developed district? And do I have to do this in 3 steps?
No,
I'll make that
you can just say motion.
Okay. You want to make a motion for those?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Mark.
Okay. Mark seconds it. All in favor?
Jim, aye.
Mark, aye.
Gerard, aye.
Julie, aye.
Yeah.
Tom, you can vote?
Yeah, I guess I vote aye, but can we change it if we need to in the future?
From developed to developing?
There's some possibilities that I've heard in the last few days that it's not totally developed. So
well, if there's some information that that we should be aware of that we should take into consideration, I mean, it is possible for that classification to change.
okay, so if we need to
determine that there was, that's right.
Okay,
that's
then
right.
my aye stands.
So,
Okay, because he
we
said
kinda
90%.
have to work with the facts as we have them now. Yeah, 95%.
95%.
So that's kind of where we are. The difficult part is it obviously limits your ability to. It's based around, the concept is to limit your ability to raise your your effective tax bill.
My thought was simply around the comment made by the current owner of the golf course.
Oh,
In this last week.
Interesting.
So,
I'll tell you, and I don't want to get in the weeds, and I know we're a pretty good ways into this meeting, but I've always understood that the vast majority of that golf course was in the floodway. But that's maybe an engineering question.
you totally are you're correct, but look at Mosswood. You're putting trailers into Mosswood, and it's in the flood, which I can't believe. I can't believe they gave them permits or whatever.
We just for purposes of the classification, we generally deem land in the floodway as undevelopable. So,
I agree.
yep.
So Tom, what's your vote on this?
I already voted.
Oh, did you
How
say
did you
yes?
vote?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we
Okay.
have 5 yeses. Okay. All right. Update the tax code section 26.18 compliance. Are we waiting
Just
on the?
ask for an
No.
authorization to complete the annual, or to complete the filing.
Okay. Okay. And we can't do that yet till we get everything from the tax assessor in the county appraisal district. Is that correct?
No, your 2618 filing is something that's done about 5 times a year.
Oh,
Whenever any information changes. So budget adoption, audit, any sort of general information. That's that new kind of, I'll call it financial posting that we do on your website.
Okay.
That has all of the kind of general information about the district. So
got it. Okay.
we help compile that. And then it's that information's included on your website. So we just ask for your authorization to compile that on your behalf because it does need to be updated, as I said, on a pretty regular basis. So
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to allow Smith Murdaugh Bonham to update the website as need be to keep us in compliance?
and that's just to be
I'll
clear,
make
it's
that
your
motion.
2618 filing.
Compliance, yeah.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Mark seconds.
Okay. All in favor?
Mark,
Aye.
aye.
Jim, I.
Julie, aye. Okay. Review of the investments. Richard, can't you find anything that's making any money?
Yeah, not anywhere around here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe in Israel.
Pork bellies. Pork bellies.
Pork bellies.
Plastic.
No.
Plastic.
I'd say lumber and
Right.
metal, but they're on the way down now. So,
Yep.
all right. Any questions on the investments? All right. Review the payment of the bills. I'm assuming Tom is signing this starting this month, Richard?
Yes, ma'am.
We have that
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. I've already changed everything over, so Tom is the official signer.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
Tom, I'll need to see you sometime tomorrow morning too, Tom.
All right.
And we confirmed, for the record, we confirmed that that the resolution that the board had executed previously authorized, any individual board member to sign. So.
Okay. It's all yours, Tom, tomorrow. All right. Any questions on the bookkeepers, financial and bookkeeping before we move on? Do we authorize, I guess we have to adopt a motion authorizing Tom to pay the district's bills tomorrow or whenever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Do I have a motion to authorize Tom to pay the district's bills?
I'll make that motion that we pay the bills.
Including the fine. Don't forget that one. So,
Including
okay.
the fine.
That's right.
Immediately.
That's right. So, do I have a second?
Mark seconds.
Okay. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Jim, I.
Tom, aye.
Gerard, aye.
Julie, aye. Okay. Review the administrative reports. Guess that's you, Richard.
Okay, the only thing that you guys got in your packet was the systems totals report. I didn't get a chance to do the manager's report because things changed and I haven't finished some other reports yet. The systems totals report's pretty cut and dry. Our production is down right now because of all the rain we've had. And I know for some of you that are looking at that, we got a minus 4.5%. That's only because of the month that we had to estimate. It'll catch up next month. And we'll be back to normal. But everything else is doing fine. All the plants are running fine. No problems, no issues. And they're all within tolerance.
Okay. So
We're
how
still
come
ready for a hurricane.
Yes, sir.
so can I ask, how come the number of accounts with no usage is going up?
Those are the ones that are in turn-off mode.
Well, yeah, I know, but are we having houses that, like, are they rental properties? Are they houses for sale, or are they houses that are abandoned or whatever?
It's a combination. Most of them are the ones that are for sale. They're just sitting there empty.
Okay.
That mean there's 111 houses in our district
sale?
that's vacant, basically.
Yeah, that's what it means. If there's 111 that don't have water.
It means they're not using it. It means they're not using any water.
Well, they'd pretty much have to be vacant because at least they'd have to use water to flush a toilet or
Oh, they could be
sink or,
some of Gandy's houses.
yeah. So,
That's true.
Yeah.
okay. Water and
That's it for
sewer
me.
rate increase. Just want to remind everybody, going into effect on the, did we decide the August bills, right? August 1st?
Yeah,
August 1st, the rate goes into effect. The public will see their first bill on the September bill.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
Oh, is it the September bill?
I still think, Julie,
No,
go ahead.
it's a September bill because it was too late to do it for the July reading. So it had to be the August reading, which is the one that is due in September. That's what I kept trying to tell y'all.
Well, I got through reviewing the minutes, and it said August billing.
Well, it is. It's the August billing that's due in September.
That's correct.
Okay, so due in September, but it's the August billing. All right.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Correct.
Julie, I still think that we need to perhaps get a sign and post it on the CIA welcome sign out there at the front of the subdivision, and remind everybody that the water bill, just say something like RPMUD rate increase effective September 1st or something like that.
Richard had a stamp made up. I'm going to give it.
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to you, Richard. Go ahead and tell him about it.
Yes, I've already had the stamp made up. It's it'll be in red ink across each bill. We're going to stamp each bill in the front that will say important notice, effective. New water and sewer rates effective August 1st, and also there's a reference to the webpage so they can look at the new rate sheet. But we're going to physically stamp each one of the bills as they go out.
And you're going to stamp the July bills,
that'll go out
right?
in this next billing coming up. So there'll be 30 days before they see the actual.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
I think that's good. Also, but I'm wondering, Tim, I think you've got a good idea as well. Should we put a sign up in addition to that?
I'm in favor of it.
My thought is, if they can't read the website, they can't read their bills. Are they going to read a sign? How many people said they didn't know about the bond election because they didn't see 9,000 signs that were around the subdivision?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I don't think we need to spend the money to
I
buy them.
don't think so either.
Mark, any thoughts?
No, I just think go with it.
Just go with the stamp on their bill?
People, people can complain, but you put it out there, they should see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
If somebody wanted to put a notice on one of the social media sites to check the website, I don't guess that would hurt.
It's already on the website too.
Yeah, I know.
If somebody wants to put it on Facebook or on Nextdoor, y'all are welcome to do that if you want to. So
I don't want to be the one to do that.
I don't mind. So
I'm with you, Gerard. I'm with you.
just remind me when I get back. So Okay, preparation of meeting minutes. Gerard, you're working on that?
Yes.
Or do we need to discuss?
Yeah, is that going to be a standing item on the agenda? Just to ask you
No.
that?
No, I don't know who put it on here, so
I left it on there. I just didn't know if there was anything else to be discussed, and I'll I don't see any reason to keep it on there unless anybody wants to see it again. So,
Okay.
All good.
All right. Number 9, settlement agreement.
Do we need to go into executive before that? I don't know if there's any news. Paul Davis?
Yes, I have news, and executive is preferable, and it's consistent with the statutory authorizations we have. So we should do that.
Okay. All right, everybody, we will be back. We are going to executive session.
Hey, Tom and
back.
Tim, just before we jump out, I did notice that when we went to executive session last time, you guys' video was up and running throughout the general session as well. So it was recorded with you two guys. There was no audio, but you had video running. So, I mean, it's almost like you were broadcasting the executive session. It's on a recording. So just make sure you shut down your this session when you go into executive.
Yes, sir. I will turn. I always just hang up and call right back in on the new link.
That's what I do.
Perfect. Okay. See y'all there.
For you.
D, you're the only one that's stuck around, huh?
Appears that way. If she would
All
unmute
right.
the mic, she can tell me if she can hear me.
Yeah, I know. I see Gerard and Tom and myself. I don't see Tim or
Taylor's on.
I don't see
Jeff is
Tim or
on.
Mark.
Yeah, you're right. They're both missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing all that telephoning. Oh, there's one.
There's
Two.
somebody. Two. Yeah.
That's what we were looking for, was two more.
Yeah.
Mark's up.
Tim's here.
Okay. Okay. We are back in general session and we have all the board members back. And do I have anyone that wants to make a motion?
I make a motion.
Okay. What's your
I make a
motion?
motion that we authorize the attorneys to accept the modified settlement agreement for Charleston.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mark
this
second.
one. Mark.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Tom, I.
Gerard,
Tim,
aye.
I.
Julie, aye. 5 in favor. Okay.
And
oh.
Julie, can I just
Yes.
add? This is Paul Reddick. Just obviously the way that's stated, just want to make it clear on the record here that it's subject to further negotiation on some of the finer points, but we're talking about a basic settlement framework.
Okay. Okay. All right. Next thing on the agenda is pending business. Do we have any pending business?
The one
Oh.
item that I think we do need to discuss is August 16th is the deadline to call a bond election. And so I think I have your normal kind of meeting date is August 26th.
6th.
So the question is, do you want to move the regular meeting up? Do you want to have a special meeting to discuss calling a bond election? And if so, when would you want to have that meeting? So
I think we
Can we
need,
have a
well,
special meeting, say August 2nd?
yeah, I would suggest we have a special meeting to make sure that we're either all on board or all off board or
Yes.
Okay.
whatever.
If you want to save money, just move up your regular meeting. You don't have to have two meetings next month.
Well, but you'd have to move it up to like the second, well, so you'd have to move it up to like the 12th. And everybody would have to have their mind made up at that meeting.
Yeah, we haven't even seen proposals yet, right?
Yeah.
Is there proposals that are, is there a proposal that's in the works? And if so, who's working on that?
Not me. I'm not working on it.
Truthfully,
I'm
Gerard,
kind of working on it.
my thought was that everybody would kind of go look at the numbers and sharpen their pencil and think about what they thought was a reasonable number based on however they prefer to look at it, and then we just kind of try and hash it out at a meeting, unless someone has an alternate proposal. But it sure seems like everybody has a little bit different way of looking at it.
Yeah, I
I'm
do
open
think
to
we need a
suggestions.
meeting.
I agree, and can I just add that I'm going to need to bring back to the board a final document to sign. Like, I can't sign a final settlement agreement on Charleston until y'all see the actual document. And if you move the full meeting up, you're really cutting close my ability to do that. So I hate to say that, but I think you're going to need a special meeting on the bonds or you could do the regular meeting, and if we're not done by then, we could have a special meeting on the settlement. But I don't think we can get out of a later meeting in August.
Yeah.
I think the special meeting for the settlement would be a better option. And we have
That's
our
fine.
regular
I can do
meeting
whatever
moved up.
y'all need. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, whatever we need to do, I'm happy to accommodate.
Yeah, I mean,
And I think
that
we
makes
need a
sense to do
special meeting for the bonds to discuss it and see where we're at and where everybody's going,
Okay.
or if we're going. I mean,
if we're all coming in with opinions, I'm not trying to beat up on Taylor, but hopefully I'll get that findings list. That would really help me going into the meeting and probably help some other board members going into the meeting.
Agreed. So let's do a, you want to do a special meeting for both the bond and the settlement, and then we still have the regular meeting at the end of August, or what's your best option, Julie? What do you think?
I'm thinking, and this is just me, I'm thinking we have to have a meeting early August to hash this out, the bond.
Yep.
Then we have to have a meeting to approve it, whether you want to call it a workshop or whatever. We got to have a workshop on the bond, whatever you want to call it, to hash it out. Then we got to have a meeting to approve it. Okay. So do we want to move?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, if I can suggest, I generally think it works the best if we were somehow to come to an agreement on the first meeting. I think it's
well,
probably a good idea that we have an agenda item on there to go ahead and get something
Yes.
approved. So I'm gonna say that I would suggest that we have a workshop meeting with an item on there for approval, just kind of acknowledging that we have a little cushion there if we decide we need to call another meeting, if that makes sense.
Okay. Then I suggest we probably do something the first week of August. That way we've got, you agree? That way we've got a week to have another meeting if we have to.
So you want to do it like
Julie, I
Thursday
think-
the 5th?
Yeah,
I
don't
think that
care.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. And Davis, this is more internal, but subject to the board confirming they want to do this. We'll have on this special meeting and whatever the next 2 to 3 meetings are, the potential bonds and potential.
Oh, we lost you.
You can
Breaking
approve
up,
it.
Paul.
Yeah, we didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, shoot. Give me just a second.
Okay.
Can you all hear me?
You-
Is that
Yep.
okay?
You're just saying the settlement agreement on there as well, right?
As well, because if I have a deal by August 5th or whatever, let's approve it. If not, we'll kick it to the next meeting. But if it's on the agenda, we can approve it.
Yep.
Okay.
Good idea.
Okay.
All right. So is that a good date for everybody? August 5th?
Julie, I'm going to be out of state through the 17th of August.
Okay.
So I'm unavailable.
Okay. So well, we can still,
Out.
for the workshop,
You
we
guys
can,
have 4 people.
yeah. So
Are
are
you
you
going to be
going
out
to
of
have
the
a
country or just
proposal?
out of state?
What's that?
I'm going to have a proposal. I'm going to have a proposal put together.
Yeah, but I'm asking if Mark's going to have any input, because we may want to do it virtually if he wants to have some input into it.
Well, I
If I
like
can-
doing it virtually because I'll let me be the problem. I mean, you can always have a physical location and do virtual. I'm also going to be traveling the first week of August, but I can Zoom in or Teams into a meeting as well. So
Okay.
I think we ought to plan on doing at least a combo.
Okay. Okay. And then when we have our regular meeting, we'll go to, I know everybody's wanting to go virtual or go to in-person meetings again. I've been getting emails and that from people. So go ahead, David.
September
Sorry.
1's the drop dead on that anyway. So
Yeah.
after September
Yeah.
1, we got to be back to meeting in person.
Yes.
So
Okay. All right. So I guess everybody put August 5th for the, whatever you want to call it, workshop, whatever you want to call it. And then the 12th, if we don't come to an agreement or we don't vote on something on the 5th, then we'll have it on the 12th.
Julie, just a second, looking for another option. If I understood right, it's, Mark, was that you that's not available basically in August? Or was that Paul?
Well, yeah, through the 17th, and I think Paul said the same thing, but yeah.
What if we
Yeah,
tried
I'm
to
gonna
meet
be out of state,
late
but
in,
I will be available.
what if we tried to meet late in July to have the working meeting?
I'm basically leaving tomorrow, and I'm going to be
Okay.
gone through the August 17th.
Okay, all right, got
Mark,
you.
Mark, are you going to be out of the country or just out of the state or just totally out of pocket?
State. Well, I'm in training, and I don't know when my sim schedules are. I know I'm going to be.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, but it's
So it's not a vacation.
No. I'm
Okay.
I'm changing airplanes, and they make me go to school for that.
Good idea.
I kind of
we're
agree
no
with that.
offense, but we're glad they do that, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of figured you guys would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want you to know the finer details of the plane you're flying.
That's it.
I will add, Mark, that my sincere hope here is if the board does decide to move forward with anything, that it is unanimous. And I think that it's important to come to a unanimous position of some kind, and hopefully we can come up with some sort of means of reflecting or representing that to the community, when the time comes. So hopefully that's something that you can participate in, even if you're not able to, attend the meeting, and obviously for completely understandable reasons. So,
and I'm all for a bond issue. I mean, there's no. I thought the last one was like Gerard said, was just they were asking for too much at one time. But yes, we.
So we already have a yes.
Huh?
No. Listen, we're not voting today. I just wanted to kind of get that on the record, but I think that's what we should all work towards. So
I'll be able to get texts and phone calls, and if the timing's right, if I don't have a sim, if I have a morning sim and it's an afternoon meeting, I can join in. But right now,
Perfect.
I can't tell you anything more
Makes
than
makes perfect sense.
So Mark,
Okay.
Perfect sense.
let me ask you this. I mean, so we've been meeting at 6:30. Do you think it would help your ability to attend if we moved it till 7:30?
No, because my sims, some of them start at 8 in the morning, and I have some of them that start at 4 in the afternoon. I mean, it's just
Okay. So an hour is not going to make any
like
difference.
I said,
Okay.
I mean, as the time gets closer and I get a hard copy of my exact training schedule, I might be able to say yes or no later or earlier. But right now, I can't say.
Too soon to know.
Too soon to know.
Well, so we could set a tentative date. Could we move it based on Mark's schedule as we get closer to the 5th, and he knows the schedule?
I'm fine with that.
I think that's a good idea.
Yep, I'm good
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, Mark, if
Okay.
at the end of the month you have some information, or as soon as you have it, we'll I think it makes all the sense in the world to
Right.
try and accommodate so everyone can be on. So that'd be great.
All right.
Yep.
I just can't do, I will tell you, I just can't do the second Tuesday of the month because I have a fire department board I sit on that meets on those nights.
Well, that would be the 9th, I think, or 10th.
The 10th. Yeah.
Let's plan
Yep.
on the 5th then.
Okay.
Good day on
At
the
Works
5th.
for me.
6:30.
So we'll plan on the
Okay.
5th at 6:30.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right. Do I have a motion to, wait a minute, did we go through everything? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
10 seconds.
See you guys in August.
All right.
Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Everybody
Thank you,
travel
Julia.
safe,
All
right?
right. Bye-bye. Well,
All right,
yeah,
good night.
that's true. Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.